Alright, so today we're going to be going over injury identification, assessment, and prevention of injuries from track cycling. Track cycling is the selected sport that I've chosen, and with me I have my entire slide. Just to remind myself along the way, I don't believe I'm going to need it. I have a lot of it memorized, but just for little specific key things I'm going to be might read off of it from time to time. It's a lot of information. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so competitive track cycling is much safer than American football, but it does come with some risk and injury that the coach may need to be aware of. A coach will have to know the factors that cause injury, such as environment, age, etc. He will also have to know the most common injuries within the sport and the mechanisms of injury and the anatomy of the injury and the proper treatment of the injury and rehabilitative and preventive exercises to keep the injury from occurring again. So with environment, due to the enclosed environment of competitive track cycling, you have the air, it's very stagnant. That means the athlete can become dehydrated very quickly and malnourished, and they can lose their electrolytes, which can lead to decrement in performance and whatnot. It is important that coach and staff have the proper materials needed, such as a high-powered fan to keep the athlete cool. A good coach will understand that large amounts of sweating will lead to loss of. Okay, we went over that. So another thing, males need to have about 125 ounces of water a day, and with moderate physical activity, and with females it's about 91 with moderate physical activity. So you're talking, that's 6 to 8 water bottles plus, and then you go and you add your physical activity. That's a lot of water bottles. That's a lot of water to be drinking every day, but that's what's necessary to keep the athlete performing at his or her best. So with common injuries, we have Achilles tendonitis. It is an overuse injury which leads to inflammation in the area of the ankle surrounding the Achilles tendon. It's usually caused from an overuse in cycling. It can be caused from running, any sport that involves repetitive ankle dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Fixing the problem. The best way to fix the problem is just ultimately rest. We will get more into that later. For Achilles, the Achilles tendonitis assessment. Let me make sure you can see me. Okay, you think you can. Let me see. I'm going to scoop this back over a little bit. Put one foot up. So, as you can see, hopefully, first of all, what you're going to do is have the patient actively dorsiflex and passively dorsiflex and plantar flex the ankle. So go ahead and move it. Right now, go both ways. Just keep doing it. This is active range of motion. Okay, this is what we're looking at. It's fun. It shuts off. So the key is that the patient is able to do it without pain. If he's able to do it without pain, then we're good. If not, then that could be a sign. Passive range of motion. Relax. Keep relaxed. I'm going to dorsiflex it and plantar flex it without the athlete giving any resistance, just relaxing it. If there's any pain or lack of motion, then that's a possible indication of Achilles tendonitis. Okay, real quick, I'm going to make sure. I believe we're good still, and we're still recording, just making sure. Okay, so the next one, let me go ahead and come over here. For this one, you're going to use something like a dumbbell. Again, we've done this over. This is just a review. And no, the other way. You can do this the other way. Just assist it. There you go. So eccentric exercise has been shown to be the best way to rehabilitate this injury of Achilles tendonitis. The athlete will lower himself and completely until dorsiflex, and the athlete will slowly raise himself back up with the assistance of his other foot. This exercise should be done 15 repetitions twice a day. If the injury is too painful to do this exercise, you shouldn't do it. So he's really focusing on the eccentric downward movement. Okay, so for the next exercise, it is important to stabilize and strengthen the muscles of the ankle. So go ahead and sit down. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with eversion. Go ahead. For an eversion, this is just using a TheraBand. Okay, this is going to work the peroneal, the soleus, gastrocnemius, and the posterior tibialis. We're going to do inversion now. With these exercises, you want to do about 20 sets, and then you just keep repeating through, a couple times a day, a few times a week, and then you are good to go. You don't want to overdo anything, any exercise in particular, because you want to allow it to heal, obviously. And it all depends on how it feels. If it's painful, you shouldn't do it. If it feels good, keep going to your heart's desire, but you don't want to overdo anything. So, the next common injury with cycling in particular, it's going to be patellar tendonitis, which is inflammation occurs below the kneecap. Oh, not yet. Below the kneecap. It is caused by a seat that is usually too low, which results in underuse of the gluteal muscles, which means the quadricep muscles becomes overworked, leading to tendonitis of the tendon. This injury can also occur from repetitive weightlifting, such as the hack squat or jumping with improper technique. Fixing this problem with this sport-specific exercise, with what we have going on, fixing the problem, the bike has to be fitted to the athlete and the athlete's needs. So in competitive track cycling, you're not just fixing and adjusting the seat. Some athletes prefer the handlebars higher or lower, and that also obviously has effect on how much the back bends. So the lower it goes, the more competitive of a stance and aerodynamic it is. So that's something to be considered. The next one, patellar tendonitis assessment. So, go ahead and sit down before we get on the bike or anything. Go ahead. So, if applying pressure just below the kneecap on the patellar tendon causes pain between the kneecap and the tibia, this may be an indication of patellar tendonitis. If this is the case, the patient should be recommended to a physician so an x-ray can be done so we can rule out any other possible problems in the knee that could be also causing pain. So, rehabilitative preventive exercises for patellar tendonitis. Let me go ahead and check on the video here. We're good. One exercise of rehabilitating patellar tendonitis includes. Okay, so go ahead and send that's the truck. So what you're going to have the athlete do is he's going to do 15 squats. It's going to be assisted. So go ahead. You know what you're doing. And now with this one, we're going to pretend that we got. You don't have to go down that level. It's going to get ridiculous. But yeah, you got the idea. You're good. We're going to pretend that we're at a slope here. So this slope, he's really focusing on the downward movement, and he's assisting himself back up. So the reason why you want to have a slope is because you're preventing the calf from assisting the knee while he's squatting. Okay, this is a proven method for treating patellar tendonitis. Now, for the next one, you're good. For the next one, I'm just going to keep track of the time. Stretching the quadriceps as well as performing plyometric butt kickers is also an important. So go ahead. So again, regular stretching, holding it. Okay, butt kickers. That's pretty much it right there. This will ultimately lengthen the quadricep muscles, and place less stress on the tendon. Okay, so the hip flexor stretch is another variation which also takes tension off of the patellar tendon. Go ahead. You don't have to bend your back that much. You can keep your back neutral, nice and straight. Lower the knees down. You can use a protective knee pad on the injured knee if necessary. And this is going to stretch the rectus femoris and the iliopsoas muscle, and ultimately taking pressure off of the tendon. Okay, so last common injury is lower back pain caused by extensive amounts of time training in an aggressive racing position, which causes excessive flexion of the lumbar and spine, which can lead to nerve entrapment and sciatica. The spinal column inserts into the pelvic bone, which means having a weak core will likely result in injury. This injury can also be seen in speed skaters as well as tennis players who have maintained an athletic stance during long durations, getting ready to change direction and whatnot. So, the best way to combat this would again be to rest and engage in core strengthening exercises for at least, and then also stretching for 15 minutes a day after workouts to help combat this problem. Because lower back pain is a very broad term, in that there could be a wide variety of problems contributing to the pain, we will look at a sport-specific assessment for track cycling that could be a strong indicator of lower back pain, as well as give an idea of exactly what may be causing it. So go ahead and get on the bike. This is a very, okay, let's hurry up here. So just start pedaling immediately when you get on there. So what you're looking for is the hips are usually, what's going to happen is when assessing the cyclists from behind here, the hips may move from side to side. Let's get straight to it. Hips are going to move from side to side. This is an indicator of weak hip flexors, obliques, as well as a weak quadratus lumborum. Okay? So you're good. You can get off. So lower back pain. The skater squat. If you remember how to do it, you can do it right there. Use some more space. Just one leg. Do it a couple times. So you can hold that right there. Get the other leg off the ground. There you go. So that's how you do the skater squat. You do a few sets on each leg, then you're going to switch. Okay, so that's ultimately how you do this exercise. This is going to improve the hip flexors. Okay, we're ultimately trying to prevent lower back pain. So, next exercise, lower back pain, barbell side bend. Okay, so with this one, you're going to use about a 15-pound barbell with no added weight, placed on the shoulders behind the head, just as a traditional squat. The athlete then slowly bends from side to side, bending as slow as he can before going to the next side. Really feeling that stretch, not going too quick, just controlled movement, with not too much weight. That's what you're trying to do, and this will ultimately strengthen the inner and outer obliques. Okay, that is the barbell side bend. And for the last exercise, we're going to be doing this. This is the side plank. So we already got a pad down there for him, for his elbow. So for lower back pain, side plank will strengthen the quadratus lumborum. The athlete will lie on the floor and keep the upper half of their body off the ground while the elbow holds themselves up for 1 minute before switching sides. And that is it. So that is the, track cycling is definitely a sport that is something that you don't have to be worried about. It's not American football. A good coach will see these things and understand these things and know how to treat them and prevent these injuries from occurring. So with that being said, I hope you go and sign up your competitive young athlete to go and do some track cycling, I guess. And that is it. Thank you.